Welcome to Withdraw Consent. I'm Jack. This is Victor. Victor's going to tell you about this brand new series we're starting, which is named...
Well, a little awkward, but we don't have a name for it yet. So when we explain it to you, you guys can come up with a
Or by the
witty
time it's
thing.
published, it might have a name.
Maybe.
Hard to say.
Right.
Yeah. So what's that about?
So the idea is, well, we don't get into the culture war stuff because we just feel like it's a distraction and it isn't the real issue. There's
It's a symptom.
Yeah, there's symptoms of what is the actual issue causing all this. And so that's what we try to focus on. Jack had a great idea. Let's do culture war, but let's use that to talk about what that topic looks like in the future. So the series is about defining the new system, how we envision the future, but the foundation comes from something that's more topical in our modern day lives.
Okay, and shout out to Todd on Rumble.
Okay.
Because basically he sent so many different video ideas that I realized that several of them followed underneath the heading, which would make this series, which will flesh out into more things. But we want to give people the picture because people could be so despondent that they can't see what the future would look like.
Gotcha.
So we're talking to talk about men's rights today.
Okay.
And we live in a country that is... Are men more important than women in our country, or women? Are women more important than men?
Based on laws, women are more important.
Yeah, women are vastly more important
Yes.
in this country. And so basically, let's talk about the custody stuff first.
Sure.
Okay. So there's a statistic that I've heard a lot of really good people say, and I don't have the source for it, but I'm going to say it anyways.
Okay.
And they're going to say that basically when you're talking about a kid in two-parent homes is very successful on the metrics. And then a child raised by the mother is not as successful on the metrics. And then a child raised just by his father is back up at almost the same quality as the two-parent home.
Okay.
Now, when I hear that, I think, well, those are particular men. Those aren't just average men, because a lot of women are getting dumped with kids.
Okay.
But the man who swoops in and says, no, not my kid's getting dumped. I'll take them to my villa upstate. You know what I mean? Okay, you got a chance now, kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe.
Because the way the system's made, no men get dumped with kids.
They have to want the kid.
They have to want the kids. So that would skew the, what I mean, percentages here.
That makes sense.
So basically, I was a lot of times you get a custody battle and the women win.
Sure.
Because the women are favored by the laws, like you said. There's this one terrible case of, I want to make my kids trans, and then it's like, we're getting a divorce because you won't let me chop some stuff, and then go to California, and the guy's fighting the legal battle trying to get it back. Can't chop them, And it's like, it's pretty wild. So I was surprised by a statistic that fathers are granted custody 18.3% of the time. I thought that was pretty high.
Yeah, I would have expected under 10, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking around 5, honestly. Mothers are awarded child support nearly 2 times as often as fathers are.
Okay.
Fathers are awarded nearly 10% less on average in child support when they are awarded it. Fathers receive less of the awarded child support than mothers.
So the other spouse isn't paying. That's what that one is.
Right.
So, okay.
And so I'm going to pop this little cool graphic, and I'll put the reference to the website below. It's like a lawyer website. We're not, pushing them, but they got some good information on there. And then basically, okay, so it's up on the screen. How many custodial parents are awarded support? So that's like, for men, of the 18.3%, 28.8% of them get awarded child support.
Okay.
And then for women, it's 53.4 of the 81. And you can see the numbers on how much people make in child support. Men are a little bit less. It's not a lot of money at all. And then the last number is statistically fairly close. How much support, is received. Okay. So in a future system, how does it look?
Well, I feel like it should be way more like looking at the situation. It isn't just always the woman. If the woman is the issue, the woman is the person, not being faithful or drinking or whatever.
Yeah.
That she would have to fight to get the kids from the dude because he would be getting it by default.
Mm-hmm. Okay, my theory on this is, so under Reagan, we got no-fault divorce.
Okay.
So that means you can divorce somebody for no reason whatsoever, though you signed a contract with them till death do you part, in sickness and in health, for better or for worse.
Okay.
I'm going backwards there through those,
Yeah.
It's like, ditch the contract. You know?
Okay.
What if I got a 20-year lease on your property so I could put a Walgreens there and you're like, nah, cool.
Right.
But we got clauses. Nope.
That's a good point. Okay, you're right. I'm wrong.
Yeah. So it's like, basically, before you had no fault divorce, it's you give a reason and you get a divorce. What is your reason? He beats you. He beats the kids. He neglects the kids. He exposes himself. He cheats on you. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
All of the reasons that you would be like, get away from that man, for goodness. You can get a divorce, no problem. You know?
Right.
And then if it's like,
we don't talk that much anymore, or something. Something ridiculous.
He bores me.
Right.
Fell out of love. Right. You know? That's when you should, typically people just do the divorce.
Right.
But you should be going to a marriage counselor, a pastor. There's steps
Sure.
you can take. If it's caused because one person entered depression, there's different things you can do with that. Don't just go take psychotropics or whatever. Anyways, so in a good system, there would be no fault divorce. Mm-hmm. There would be a social stigma to getting divorced.
Okay.
Like if you're trying to game the system and make up an excuse, and you pay this girl to go and he gets taking a picture, and you know what I'm saying? It's like okay. There would not be social stigma to getting a divorce if you really needed it. If the guy was beating you, it's like, get away from him, girl. You know what I mean? Because we want to protect the woman and the kids in this situation.
Well, the stigma's on him for being that person to ruin the marriage and the household and all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in a system where family is put first, we're talking about very important things here. You know?
Sure.
And then basically, if we go to the custody stuff between the men and the woman, if you only have fault divorce, only one side's ever at fault.
Oh, okay.
It's easy to know where the kids go. Guy cheats, woman gets the kids. You know?
Right.
Guy says, no, but I want custody of the kids. No, you ruined the thing.
Right.
The protective environment for the children, everything was built for that. And you've ruined this. Now she's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Who gets the house? Don't feel bad for you, dude. Anyways, so I think in the future system, this would not be a problem at all.
Okay.
So then you asked the question. Go ahead. Hit me with your next question. Do you recall? The last line.
I don't remember at all.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, so here's what he asked. He said, well, do in a future system, do men get a say in abortions?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Right? And so basically, we have a video. I'm going to link in the description. Very controversial. It's called Abortion, Both Sides Are Wrong. And it makes the argument that if you're trying to figure out what day of the week, how many days old this baby is when you murder him, that's a stupid argument. Because nobody ever says, what day of the week am I allowed to murder you?
Right.
Is it Purge Day? Like what day of the year? You know what I'm saying? There's no day. There's no, you get to be 71 and I get to kill you. Or you're only 3, push you down. You know what I mean? Hit your head. That's silly. It should be, what's the reason for it?
Right.
You know? And so if the reason is, a child would be inconvenience in my life now. Kill him. You're insane. You're an insane person. You should be put in I'm not going to say what's going to happen. Okay. So, but on the other hand, if you got a child who's missing legs and is brain dead, that's a different story. You know what I'm saying? Because we're talking about the why here.
Right.
We're talking about the rape victims and et cetera, and there's all types of, it's the why, you know? And then you can get into, in this situation, in this why, yes or no. You can have a fierce debate about it. But you're talking about when, you're talking about the wrong thing. So in a future system, what I'm saying is that babies wouldn't just be killed willy-nilly. They just wouldn't be just all the babies getting killed. There would be a rare situation where, see what scares me is not the baby that's missing both legs and is brain dead. It's the baby where there's quite a few things going on. And it's just in the gray. There's a mental thing going on. There's a physical thing going on. There's questions about heart. You know what I'm saying? It's a gray choice, you know? And so there could be an argument between a man and a woman there, you know? Mm-hmm. And that could come up. But what I'm saying is this is not going to be a big topic like it is today. You know?
As prevalent.
As prevalent, yeah.
Right.
Okay. So do you agree with that or no?
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Okay. And we live in a world where women are favored for everything.
Yes.
So women are favored for a political appointment, for a position as a CEO, for being on a board, for just being an employee to raise that number. Women are favored across the board. And they're doing this to fix systemic, okay, whatever. Okay, so I asked you a moment ago, if a man and a woman of equal qualifications wants to ask for a job, they have equal qualifications as a man and a woman. You're currently at 50% men, 50% women.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There's no statistical Who do you pick?
How did I get to 50% men and 50% women? Okay, anyway.
That's funny. I hope you appreciate that.
Yeah, I want to work with a dude. Everything is easier. And, I mean, statistically speaking, women want to work with dudes too. So it's just, I think everything is better. I would hire the dude and not feel bad at all.
Okay. So that's an interesting response because that was not my response at all. But I do remember you coming up with those statistics on that. My response is this. You've got this future system and it's all focused around family, you know?
Yeah.
And we know what's really good for a family. It's two parents in the home. Mm-hmm. And it's mom staying home.
Yep.
It's really good for the kids, you know?
It's good for her too.
It's good. It's good for her. Okay, yeah, that's good for her too. Because it's like my wife started homeschooling my older kid, you know? And then we had a baby. And now it's like, instead of that, how's she going to rush back to work? And you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But now she has time to take care of the baby, who needs a ton of time, obviously, a baby, and also homeschool. You know, and I work my butt off so we can achieve this because, you know what I mean?
Right.
We know what the ideal situation is. And so it's like, I see a man and a woman, and I'm like, okay, is this man married? Then I want to give him the job so he can support his family. And then his woman won't have to work. Hopefully. Mm-hmm. Hopefully I pay enough and give him enough benefits, and hopefully, you know. And then if I'm like, okay, is this man not married? Oh, I want to hire the man then because I want him to have enough money so he can get married and have children, right?
Yeah.
And I want this woman, I hope she finds a nice husband. I hope she does. Now, if I would think differently if I was in a future system and then there was like a depression and everybody was desperate for work. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And she was a single mother of 4 who lost her husband in the war. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There are different situations. But if the ideal thing for a society is for men to work, women to stay home and do the things that are actually important. Right. The guy's just filling the bank account. The woman's doing the things that truly matter for the next generation, the most important things. If that's the case, then why would you want to? Yeah. Okay. Because the women thing is like, I'm just going to give a brief history of it. Okay. Women didn't used to work, and they were like, how can we double our workforce? So let's let the Japanese bomb us at Pearl Harbor, right? And then they're like, okay, now we need women in the workforce. My grandma welded the bomb doors on B-52 bombers, you know? That was so cool. It was a trap. It's a trap, right? Right. Now they got the women in the workforce. The men come home. They put all the kids in these state schools, like
propaganda farms. Or
whatever. But they were for like nursery type things for the younger kids, you know? And oh my gosh, it was a terrible idea. And so anyway, well, it was a perfect idea. It was a brilliant idea. Now they got all the women in the workforce. The men come back. Man, wages are pretty low. They both got to work because you've doubled the workforce. If all the women just walked out of the workforce, voila. You know what I mean? The wages would go up. The men would... Anyway, so this is set up like this. So in a future system, you want to deconstruct what has been set up. You want to lessen the labor force to increase the demand for labor, which increases the wages. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just pretty simple. Right. Hire the dude. Hire the dude. Not in today's system. Right. I'm not saying that. Because right now there's so many single mothers. Right. There's so many like a man and a woman who are both working. Mm-hmm. Because they're stuck in that. And so I wouldn't discriminate in this. But
it's more than they're stuck. They think that they're doing the right thing, and they don't even want to stay home with their kids. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like they've been so broken programming wise that even if you presented a good system to them, they wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah, it's amazing. I talk to my wife all the time, and I'm like, I can't understand you wanting, like my wife, if she wanted to not experience the first things in these kids' lives, like she's homeschooling and had problems with the reading, you know, and then he just does the reading so good, and she's just so happy, she has tears of joy, and I'm like, would you like to give that to another woman? Right. I don't. You know, my baby crawled all the way across the entire living room for the first time. Full crawl. It's awkward.
Okay, but he's moving though. That's cool.
He's moving. How? For goodness sakes, missing these things. I'm sorry. What's the point of having kids then? You know, what's the point? Yeah. Why not just have them in a lab somewhere and then just send them off somewhere to be like
visit them each weekend?
This is the thing that we are here to do. Right. This is the thing. No matter, and you might not have kids or you might be older, then it's your grandkids. The grandkid and the grandparent, that relationship's incredibly important. Mm-hmm. You know, my grandparents. Anyways, so we're going on and on. I'm going on and on. But I'm just saying, I'm trying to relate that in a future system it's one way, and in this system it's
right.
another way.
It's going to be encouraged to.
But
have,
in the future system, it would be beautiful as far as
Right.
men's rights go, and women would be put up on a pedestal
yeah, now
for the values that they have there.
right. They're put on pedestals currently for totally the wrong reasons.
The wrong reason, and then they're forced in the labor market for the. You're taking them off the pedestal and putting them in the labor market. You know.
No, but to put them on the pedestal of like, oh, you're a single mom. That's so great.
Oh, that's funny too.
Is it great?
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna do an episode soon on. Well, we already filmed the Libya episode in our villain series, and I'm gonna got the Green Book on the way, which is Gaddafi's book, and in it, the value he placed on women is so extraordinary. It was literally like reading poetry, you know, that they're just so incredibly valuable, you know. And then men should work all of the dirty jobs because for a woman to have dirt on her face and for it to harm her beauty would be beneath her. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This and that. And he goes through these things. And the way he's saying it, I'm like, it's gold. Reading this comic book and it's
I'm excited
gold.
for it.
You know?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so we're going to be hitting you with that soon. So this is just the opening episode. And it's about men's rights.
Okay.
And we're going to do future episodes about all different topics
Yeah.
that are currently pretty messed up.
Right.
And where we could put them in we could do a whole one on education. Put some comments below what you want to do. We're already going to do one on the prison system and rehabilitation. We could do one on like a real education system and how that would look for children.
Okay.
And just put if you're interested, put some different ideas what we can do.
Yeah, definitely. Our Vision for the Future series or whatever you guys come up with.
Oh yeah, come up with the name for us too. Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah. Lots of those comments.
Yeah, because we want it to be like a white pill thing where like you can see like, oh man, this would be great. It would be.
Yeah.
And Victor asked me when we were talking about this, he's like, but how many people don't already think about these things?
Yeah, because I feel like I'm thinking about this stuff all the time.
Right. And my response was, I think that there are so many people that are demoralized that this comes up a lot today in all these videos we film. But it's like people are so demoralized that they can't picture a future.
Gotcha.
And we want to help draw the pattern for that future.
Or get you excited about what could be.
And in the end, we're going to have this gigantic video that's just going to be about our vision for the entire new system. And it's just going to be a bunch of us talking briefly about something, then linking you to this video about men. And then to that video about the education system. Then
but altogether, it's going to be
it's going to be one vision, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't just sit down for 2 hours and say the whole thing. There's too many aspects of too many different things. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Glad you joined us. Hope you enjoyed this new type of idea we're working on, and we appreciate your comments.